right, so moving into our first non-DC related topic in some capacity here is we got our first look at Tom Holland in the upcoming Uncharted movie. So him as Nathan Drake, we got our first look at that. So I don't have a whole lot of information, but I'll tell you what. I mean, when I first saw him, I was like, "That looks like Nathan Drake."
I was just about to say, it looks like Nathan Drake.
So I mean, they got the outfit down to a T. I mean, look, that's pretty much it. He's got the necklace. He's got the necklace. He's got the button down shirt. I mean, it's like the holster. He's missing the scarf though, so everybody is gonna freak out. I'm surprised no one's freaking out already. Is like that's not him.
The
They got the
buttons aren't the
costume wrong.
same.
Yeah,
The buttons aren't the same on the shirt.
his V-neck Henley thing is a lot deeper than his. Like they're messing this up.
Well, the other thing is Nathan Drake doesn't look like a 17-year-old kid either, but that's like my only complaint, really.
Tom Holland's 24, dude.
But he looks like a 17-year-old kid.
Well, they had that one. Didn't they have like a prequel mission game? Like, was
Yeah.
this a DLC or a whole game?
Well, in the last one, you play as a young Nathan Drake.
There you go. There you go, hater Rick.
Well,
But,
here. Go ahead.
No, you go.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, one of the things that, like, this, I can't begin to express how excited I am about this movie. I love video games, and Uncharted is probably in my top 3 series video games of all time. I mean,
There's a lot of
it's
people's, yeah.
so good. So I'm super pumped about this. This really could be the Indiana Jones of this generation. And I think we need that. We need something to fill the void that Indiana Jones left. I know that we might get another Indiana Jones movie at some point, but if it's based
Don't hold
off
your
of,
breath.
yeah. But anyway, I will say this: while I had always pictured Nathan Fillion in the role of Nathan Drake,
Many did, yeah.
I think a lot of people did. I understand why they would go with Tom Holland. He is only 24, so if this movie does well, if they adapt these movies well, he'll be able to play this role for the next 2 decades. I mean, we'll be able to, without having those, as long as they're able to keep the quality, they could serialize these movies and have a really good franchise on their hand, with a good young actor attached to it that isn't going to age out of it as quickly as, say, if they had gone a Nathan Fillion route or something like that.
Yeah,
True.
So I'm excited by that, and I'll say, just based on that first, it looks like Nathan Drake. I'll also say Tom Holland looks a lot more rugged than he doesn't look as baby faced and as young as he does when he's
right.
playing Peter Parker. So I like that. I was much more impressed by this because when I heard the initial casting, I was like, well, hopefully the movie's good because my
Right.
casting excitement was kind of muted. But this got me pretty hyped up for it.
Well, did you watch? I recently just saw him in The Devil All the Time on Netflix. Have you watched that?
I haven't watched it yet.
Well, he plays. If you want to get if for anybody who just can't get past, like Rick, for you, for instance, who just can't get past, Tom Holland being like a baby face, looking as young as he does or whatever. Watch The Devil All the Time. He's really good in it. He's definitely playing the opposite of Peter Parker. Like he's a completely different kind of character as Peter Parker, and it's really the first thing that he's really been in other than Spider-Man that like he kind of like, I don't want to call him like the lead because like the way the movie is structured, like he becomes the lead, but they do a lot of backstory stuff leading up to when he finally comes into the movie. So, but he was in there with Robert Pattinson and what was his name? Jason Lewis. There's a ton of people in the movie. The movie was so-so, but it was a good movie. I enjoyed it. Tom Holland's good in it, and after seeing him in that, it warmed me much more up to the idea of him playing a younger Nathan Drake. Because like you hit the nail on the head. They obviously want to make a franchise out of this because they know like this is made by Sony, the same people who make the game. They know how popular this franchise is and what it has the potential of being. And like Indiana Jones is a good example to kind of tie it to. That's exactly what it could end up being as a modern day Indiana Jones. I'm curious though too, and I haven't played all the Uncharted games, but I heard that there were like in I think the earlier versions of the game, they're like some supernatural-esque elements. Is that true?
Yeah, there's definitely some supernatural stuff going on. They've got like these snow beasts that are in one of the series. So yeah, there's a supernatural element to it that, but I mean, nothing more far-fetched than opening the Ark of the Covenant
Okay.
or, things like that. So I think that that type of thing works well within these high adventure archaeology,
Laura Croft
historical.
and
Yeah, exactly.
do you think they're gonna go that route or keep it even more
Grounded.
just more of a swashbuckling adventure with just, set in today's world?
We'll see. I mean, I hope they just dive into it. I hope they don't try and adjust the formula. I don't expect them to adapt any of the games directly. And I think they may be doing themselves a disservice if they do that. But I hope that they at least keep the tone and feel of it, which it is very much swashbuckly,
Right.
kind of high adventure, but it's just such the games have such a brilliant mix of real emotion to them, but also great comedy, and great action. So they balance it all out very well, at least in the games. I'm hoping that they're able to translate that balance to the screen.
Yeah. Well, let's think. Hopefully, this will be the first truly good video game adaptation because I mean the Laura Croft movie, the most recent one, was probably the best that we've gotten, but there's just been so many
Misses.
disappointments. Yeah, like
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat, aside from the first one, well, the first movie, I mean, is still it's terrible, but it's good. It's terrible in all
So
the
good
right
it's
ways.
bad, or
Yeah,
so bad it's good.
yeah, exactly. And it's like it's just a joy to watch that first Mortal Kombat movie. But I mean, everything since then. I mean, the Angelina Jolie Tomb Raider movies were a little bit ridiculous. The Warcraft movie was probably my biggest disappointment. One being such a big Warcraft fan, so that one kind of hurt. But it had its upsides and downsides to it. And like, what? And then Resident Evil, like terrible adaptations. We just can't seem to get. I guess though too, we have to include Sonic in some capacity, right? That was very well received. It's not really the same kind of adaptation, I would say, though, because it was more of like I felt like I haven't watched Sonic yet, so I can't really speak too much on it, but it felt more like a Detective Pikachu kind of thing, and I don't really consider Detective Pikachu a video game movie. It has video game characters in it, but is it really a video game movie? Like I felt like Sonic was kind of the same way, but like I haven't seen it, so it's just Sonic in game Sonic. You just run around and grab the coins, so it's like that's not really what the movie was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's if you want to include it, I understand including it as a good one, but I don't know. Assassin's Creed is probably the worst one so far, though. I think we could all probably agree on
So bad.
best potential because you had Michael Fassbender in there, like who's an incredible actor,
Such a
and
waste.
yeah, that's just very disappointing because that could have been a huge thing too. Like they got so many different stories they could tell with the Assassin's Creed thing. I don't know, but I think this looks pretty good too. Honestly, he looks just like Nathan Drake, so I'm looking forward to it. Question is, guys, what do you think about this? Are you still on the fence about Tom Holland and playing Nathan Drake and it being a younger one? I'm in like John's John's company here with they want this to be a franchise, obviously, so it makes the most fiscal and logical sense for them to cast someone who is Tom Holland's age. He could be playing this role for the next 10 years. When if you they would have had Nathan Fillion do it, you're not going to get those kind of results on it, just unfortunately. And then same like Mark Wahlberg's playing Sully, and he was initially attached to play Nathan Drake to it when they were talking about doing this movie like 5-10 years ago. So I mean that is kind of cool that they kept him for it. So, but anyways, you let us know what you guys think of this down in the comment section below. We think it looks pretty good.